So we open it up, and the box is half full. What the heck, guys? If you're just going to... What's up with that? Just make the box half the size. But it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packs here. Okay. So first we got... Oh, these are cool. These are all of them are shiny. Whoa! Hold up. That's awesome. So here we have Parademons. They're Darkseid's alien mutant bad guy minions. Oh, that's cool. And we get a little bit of info on the back. Oh, these are sweet. Oh man, look at that. Whoa! Classic covers. We got Superman number 154 from March 2000. This would have been roundabouts, if not right on top of the Our Worlds at War story arc. Ah, that is cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I have no idea what's in this series. Like, this series of cards. What am I looking for? Desaad. Desaad is one of Darkseid's, like, tech gurus. Well, he is, like, the tech guru. So, that's cool. Oh! All these are sweet! I kind of love these. Lord Zod. This is General Zod's kid. Kind of cool. I love these character cards. Oh, these are sweet. And then we have Steel the Second, one could say. This is Natasha Irons. It is Natasha, yeah, it is Natasha Irons. She is the daughter of the original Steel, the guy who's on the card packs here. There's no front or back to these cards, so let's just go ahead and slide them out of the package. We get Clark Kent! Oh, look at that! Oh, that's great! Oh, that is a cool looking card! We got our main hero, folks. That is one thing. I do wish they put the artist on the backside of these cards. And that would have given this a lot more trading value as a pack, right? Like, if there were, like, artist stats and writer stats and, like, more background on these characters on the back than just these short bios, that would be cool. Alright, so we got Clark Kent. That was a nice pull. And we got Jimmy Olsen, the man. The man, the myth, the CEO. Oh, man, this is a good pack of cards already. Holy cow. Next we got... Classic covers, Superman, number 233. This was huge. This was the beginning of Superman's Bronze Age. The Bronze Age had been going on for a little bit by this point. This is the beginning of Superman really getting into the Bronze Age. They changed everything about him in this particular issue. They changed his job. They changed his power status. They changed how much kryptonite was on the planet. Like, this was a huge, huge turning point for the character. For a long time, DC had wanted to reboot the character, or at the time they just didn't, and they thought that this would be enough of a reset, and it worked for close to 15 years. In 1985 and 86, they rebooted him in a mini-series called The Man of Steel. I'm working on a video for that right now. And Kelex, oh, that is cool. I'm excited we got Kelex here. Kelex is one of the Superman robots that runs the Fortress of Solitude. In the movie, they used the more Silver Age humanoid robots that you would see occasionally and called them the Superman robots. Kelex is the real alternative to that. If you don't like the humanoid robots or you think that's a little bit silly, Kelex is the other option. And the last one, Lobo. Oh, look at that. Ah, the foil on these cards is so sleek. These are great. Oh man, I love these so much. Guys, pack number 2 was a winner. Okay, also, I want to speak to the quality of these cards. They are quite sturdy. Oh, these are great. Now, here's hoping we don't get any repeats. Hey, Superboy Prime. Oh, that is way cool. Superboy Prime is a version of Superman that exists on a world where there are no superheroes. And Superman is just a comic book character. This guy kind of woke up once and had just superpowers. And he was the big hero in Crisis on Infinite Earths. He did a lot to help out with that, and then he became something of an unwitting villain in Infinite Crisis, and he's kind of come back and forth a lot, but he is probably the most powerful variant of Superman out there. Next we've got Cyborg Superman. Oh, cool! We're getting all kinds of cool cards. I don't know who the artist on this one is. I really wish they would just put the artist on the back of these, but it doesn't look like they do, which is just way too bad. But Cyborg Superman was one of the Superman variants that showed up after Superman was killed by Doomsday, and tried to convince the world that he actually was just Superman's consciousness inside a cyborg body. And he had the whole world convinced at one point. Like, he won that fight. But turns out he was like a sleeper agent or something for the villain Mongol. And he blew up Coast City. Just destroyed the entire city while Green Lantern was out in a way. So he's also kind of a Green Lantern villain. And he showed up in a bit in some Supergirl books as well. The Cyborg Superman, that's a cool card. We've been drawing great cards out of these lately. The Superman Revenge Squad Livewire. Oh, what is this? Hold on. Oh, this is cool. This is way different than the other cards we picked up. This is neat. So Livewire is way cool. Oh, they put the artist on the back of this one. Oh, Jamal Campbell. That's great. They should be putting that on all of the cards. Livewire is one of the handful of characters in the DC universe that is really big in comics but was introduced in the animated series universe. Her whole deal is that she's a shock jockey who would slander Superman in her radio show just endlessly, and hosted like this big rally in the middle of a lightning storm. Superman tried to save her from getting electrocuted. It didn't quite work. She got electrocuted through Superman, and she ended up getting electricity superpowers from it. And she showed up in a lot of stuff. Most notably, she was a big part of My Adventures with Superman. She's also a big part of, right before the New 52, she did a lot of stuff as well. Livewire is cool. That's a cool card. Alright, we have a couple more here. We get Mom, Pa, Kent! Oh, we get the Kents! These guys are great! For a long time, people didn't know what to do with the Kent parents. Like, they existed in the Superboy books, and they were a huge supporting cast for Superboy. But it didn't happen until, like, 1985 with that big reboot, when they decided that the Kents could be alive while Superman was an adult. Because of that, their existence is always kind of in flux. But whenever they do show up, it is extremely meaningful, except for in Man of Steel. I don't know what happened in the movie Man of Steel to mess these characters up, but top tier comic book parents, Mom and Pa Kent. My parents went to see the movie with me. They fell in love with Mom and Pa Kent instantly, and that makes me feel so good. If you like the Kents, you should definitely read Superman for All Seasons. The first issue is told from Jonathan Kent's perspective, and it's really great. This is a sweet card. These cards are so cool. And last one for the pack, we get Silver Age Superman. Look at that. Okay, this is definitely this is either Wayne Boring or early Kurt Swan. If you guys know, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I think this is Wayne Boring. Wayne Boring was a huge influence on how Superman worked. He started off as a ghost artist for Joe Shuster, the guy who was half of the creative team that made Superman. And he drew the character a lot during the 1940s, all the way up through into the 60s. And he was huge in determining the look, the feel, the environment of everything related to Superman. Because, I mean, he drew him for such a long time. And the reason why I'm not sure if this is Wayne Boring or early Kurt Swan is that when Kurt Swan took up the book right after Wayne Boring, he did everything he could to draw Superman just like Wayne Boring did. So, this is cool. Oh, I wonder if we're going to get variants on the Superman card with different artists then. Each pack just seems to keep getting better and better as we go along, so hopefully we've discovered a pattern and we're just going to keep on going. Maintain the surprise. We want to keep them in the pack as we open them. First card, we get Highfather. Highfather is the antithesis to Darkseid. Darkseid is the new god of like evil and terror and awfulness, and Highfather is the new god of goodness and good. It's alright. We got Highfather. Let's go. Next, we've got... Hey, it's Superboy! Now, Clark Kent's version of Superboy is another one of those things that's always been in flux. Some writers really hate the idea that Clark was a full costume superhero while he was growing up as a teenager. Other artists really like it, and it seems to ebb and flow. Right now, we're definitely in a point where Superboy fully exists. We have stories of Superboy doing things. Other times, it's more like Smallville, where Clark is doing superhero stuff, but it's very secret, and he's not really out in the open with it. Next, we've got the first appearance of Supergirl. Man, I have a lot to say about Supergirl. Supergirl's origins are wacky. She is probably the most researched and fought against character in Superman history. Publishing didn't really want to keep her around. Some of the writers weren't sure what to do with her, but generally speaking, people love Supergirl. And that's why she keeps coming back. Like, even when they try to get rid of her, she keeps showing up. And now I think she's very much permanently a part of the DC universe as her classic original interpretation, especially after the Melissa Benoist series did a lot. And we have the movie upcoming, and Woman of Tomorrow was a big thing. That was probably one of the most influential comics for her. Oh man, I love the comic book cover cards. The comic book cover cards are fun, and they add a lot to talk about. We got two more. We got our first repeat. And then Ultra Humanite. Oh, this is cool. Okay, people don't recognize this, but the Ultra Humanite is the first supervillain. He first shows up as kind of a Lex Luthor prototype. After his first appearance, his body was completely damaged, and then he put his mind inside the body of first his Hollywood crush, the starlet that, I forget her name, but he put his brain in her body, and Superman was just able to figure it out. And then, after that went south, the Ultra Humanite put his brain inside a giant gorilla. Now, I usually see the Ultra Humanite associated with the Flash, mostly I think because the Justice League Unlimited series, they kind of imply that he and Flash have a lot of history. But it's cool that he's here and he's associated with Superman. We don't get to see that very often. These cards are really neat, and they're giving a lot to talk about, which is exciting. I hope you guys have been having a lot of fun with this, because I've been having a lot of fun just talking about like Superman lore as we've been going on. Maxwell Lord. If you know Max Lord, it's likely because he was the main villain antagonist in Wonder Woman 86, or was it 84? I think it's 84 actually. He's the main antagonist in the Wonder Woman sequel with Gal Gadot. Probably his most notable appearance in comics, though, was when he took over Superman's brain and Wonder Woman snaps his neck and just kills him. And that leads to a huge fallout within the Justice League. Superman's disappointed that Wonder Woman would kill him. Wonder Woman is disappointed that Superman's disappointed. And then it all leads up to Infinite Crisis, where they kind of just erase that event. Or they come pretty close to erasing it. Mon-El. Oh, that's cool. Oh man, look at... Oh man, this is a cool card. I love the holographic sequencing in the back. Mon-El was this character who showed up in the Superboy comics, and Superboy, Clark Kent, thought, hey, this guy might be someone from Krypton. He has a similar enough name. I think he might be like my brother or something. Turns out he wasn't. It was just a series of coincidences. But Mon-El, he got like a really bad case of alien lead poisoning, and so he couldn't actually get into Earth. He couldn't survive on Earth in Earth's atmosphere. So Superman sends him to the Phantom Zone, until he can find a cure for Mon-El. Next we've got Bizarro, another one of the Revenge Squad cards. Now Bizarro is sometimes an alien from like a weird square version of Earth. Other times he's a clone made up by like Lex Luthor or somebody else as a Superman that they can own and control, but it never ever quite works out because Superman's DNA is just whack. If you saw the movie, the version of Ultraman they had in there is very similar to how Bizarro is usually portrayed, so I'm interested to see where they go with that. I could see them bringing back Ultraman and making him Bizarro. Probably Bizarro's biggest and most relevant appearance in anything recently has been in the Superman and Lois TV series on the CW. He was not really a villain, but he was a supporting character in like a whole season. I think it was season 2. Duplicate of Lord-Zod. And Brainiac! Hey, we got like a major character here. He is the smartest character in the DC universe. He comes from a planet called Kolu. In the animated series, he's an AI that was running Krypton, but however you slice it, his whole deal is that he goes to different planets, absorbs all of their knowledge, and then destroys the planet so that that knowledge becomes more valuable. He's super scary, super frightening. I would love to see him in a movie done properly because this is like, he could be a really cool cosmic horror villain. Though in the meantime, until we get that, I definitely recommend you check out Superman Brainiac. It's a great book written by... who wrote that one? Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns wrote that, and he had help from Richard Donner, who directed the Superman movies. And it is a great book. They kind of rewrote it as the first volume of Superman 78, so everyone looks like they're Christopher Reeve and the other characters and actors from the movie series. But Superman Brainiac by Jeff Johns is just so much better, and it actually had Richard Donner's involvement with it, so check that book out. Alright, so that was this pack. The coolest card here was definitely the Mon-El card. Like, you can see the Phantom Zone glistening in the back. That's awesome. Let's start with card number 1. We get Rogol-Zar. Okay, so this character is relatively new, but he was introduced in Action Comics number 1000. And his whole deal is that he was the guy who supposedly destroyed Krypton, and he goes to Earth to end Superman and end Supergirl and ultimately just finish the job. Next we've got another duplicate. We got the Lobo card. We got the Lobo card, I think, the first pack. Classic covers. Here we are. All-Star Superman number 1. This is probably one of the most reprinted single issues for Superman. It comes up all the time. Now, All-Star number 1, All-Star Superman in general, just really hasn't ever struck the chord with me that it has with others. This is often called the best Superman story. It's so many people's introduction to the character. I think that's a mistake. This book is full of wacky Silver Age shenanigans that I think you would only really appreciate if you already appreciate Superman. Also, the art style just doesn't really speak to me. The premise of the book doesn't really speak to me. It's... I don't know. I have a lot of reasons for why I don't love this book, but I have more reasons why I wouldn't recommend it as a first read. And it drives me nuts that DC continually pushes this in front of people as a first read. Like, especially with this newest movie released, they just kept pushing it, and it's like, oh, James Gunn, he read this book when he was making the movie, and everyone freaks out, and like, elements of it, sure, but like, I don't know. It's not my favorite book. I'm glad that people like it, but it's not my favorite. Alright, next we've got Jay Nakamura. Okay. Now, I don't know much about this character because... Alright, stay with me here. I don't know much about this character because he's mostly associated with Superman's son, John, rather than Superman himself. And I don't know much about John. after John got aged up during the Brian Michael Bendis run, I kind of stopped seeing him in Superman comics as much, and a lot of his charm was lost. And then when John got his own book, it was shortly after Action Comics 1000, I think, when he got his own book, and I just didn't like the book. It drove me nuts how often Jonathan was putting down his father Clark, was putting down the Superman. Oh, I gotta be a better Superman than my father was. And I was like, stop trying to focus on being better and just focus on being good. And the book just, I felt like it kept meandering, and it just wasn't great. I canceled my subscription to that book because I was just bored and I was sick of him dogging on Clark. So, Jay, I'm sure he's a cool character. I'm sure he speaks to a lot of people, but I didn't care about the book he was in. So, I don't have much to say, unfortunately. I do know that of the two Kents, like the two Kent parents anyway, he loves Lois a lot because he also is a journalist and he was just enamored by Lois, and that's fun. And now we have Superwoman. Okay, after the New 52 Superman died, spoilers for that I guess, Lana Lang got superpowers akin to some of Superman's. So I know that Lana has kind of showed up with superpowers again recently, but yeah. Lana Lang, she became Superwoman at one point, and she, I guess, right now is, and that's fun. Alright, again, another really cool batch of cards. Start with the back card here. We get Doomsday. Oh, yeah! Alright, does it come any bigger or scarier than Doomsday? Doomsday is this big, scary scientific experiment that they created him just so Superman could have a giant slugfest against something. And oh my goodness, was this cool. And of course, the death and return of Superman story arc, it's legendary. We cannot overemphasize how big of an event that was. Alright, heck of a start to this pack. Let's move on to the next one. We've got Metallo. Metallo is creepy stuff. So he's like this bad guy terrorist guy who got his brain put into a robot body with this like special metallic alloy called Metallo that makes him basically invincible, and he's powered by a kryptonite heart. He was first introduced in the same issue that Supergirl was introduced, so he kind of gets a little bit overshadowed by it, but it means that that issue of Action Comics is a double key, which is pretty cool. Now, he was reintroduced after that. He was like revamped in 1986, very early on after Superman's initial reboot, and it was great. He became one of the coolest Superman villains and one of the most long-standing ones too. Probably my favorite appearance of Metallo in anything has to be his appearance in Superman the Animated Series. He has like this crazy history with Lex Luthor, and it's just all tied together so well. It was a great series of episodes. His first appearance episode was so good. You should go check it out. Oh, look at that! Classic covers. We got Superman number 75, the climax of the Death of Superman arc. Oh man, this has been a great series of cards so far. Alright, this is, I think, the second biggest selling single issue ever. The only one to beat it out would be X-Men number 1 from, I don't know, whenever that was. But this was a huge event. This gets a lot of blame for crashing the comic book market. I don't think it's to blame for crashing the comic book market, but I definitely think it's to blame for creating a lot of big Superman fans. Like, there's a character in here whose whole gimmick is that he thinks Superman is lame and boring. And then after Superman dies, we get to see just like how much the character actually means to people. And that's cool, and it's a cool theme that I see get mirrored in real life so often. Like, for a long time, the conversation was that Superman was lame and boring, and then we got the movie, and now he's cool again. And it just kind of speaks to the enduring nature, not endearing, but yeah, endearing, but enduring nature of a character like Superman. We want to see the good guys win. We say that we like it when the bad guys are big and edgy. We like it when the good guys are edgy, but we like seeing the good guys win, and Superman is a great example of that. 2 more cards. This has been a great pack. Alright, Helgramite. I just started reading some issues with this guy. Now, the issue I was reading, he's like this hired assassin that you can call in to do some stuff. Looks like that's not his initial thing. Dark deadly bug that lives under the rocks with a bite like a timber wolf. The Helgramite is nothing short of pure evil, is what the card says. I don't know much more about this character than that. He was showing up in the omnibus I was reading, but he didn't really do anything with that yet. I don't know. I'm going to probably get the Triangle Era Omnibus number 2, volume 2, and I'm probably going to learn a lot more about this guy until then. But until that happens, I want to stop looking at it. This thing is creepy. The last card of the bunch, we got a repeat of what I assume is just one of many Superman cards. These are cool. I might actually pick up a second box because these are just epic, and I've been really enjoying these cards. Now, I feel like we're still missing some of the biggest players. We have one Superman card, which I have to believe is only one of several. We haven't gotten a Lois Lane yet. I haven't gotten like a John Kent, or like there's a lot of really big hitters that we haven't gotten. So, I don't know, maybe they'll be in this pack. Let's see. First card of 5, we get Brainiac 13. Now, I know Brainiac 13 most from the Legion of Superheroes animated series. He was in the 2nd season, I believe. Yeah, according to the card, he is like a version of Brainiac from the very, very far future. Now, frankly, that's about as much as I know. So, there's that. We're getting some... It's cool that they put so many obscure cards in here. Ooh, look at that. Oh, look at the hologram on that card. That is sweet. We got another Cyborg Superman card. This is quite a bit cooler than the initial Cyborg Superman card. Oh, and we get the artist on this one. This one is Mirko Kolak. Night Terrors Action Comics number 2 from 2023. I remember getting that. This is sweet. I like that. That is cool. Next we got Classic Brainiac, but this one is the Superman Revenge Squad version. Now, I say Classic Brainiac. This is actually the 1980s reboot version of Brainiac. Yeah, from the Man of Steel number 9, March 1992. John Bogdanov. I love John Bogdanov's art. The more that I read from John Bogdanov, the more I'm like, you know what? I think this guy is my favorite Superman artist. Second to last card, Mongol. Oh, we talked a little bit about Mongol when we got the Cyborg Superman card. But Mongol's whole thing is that he's just like this space Caesar, right? Like his whole thing is he just wants to rule and own things, and he distracts everyone from their own, what do you call it? Unfortunate life circumstances. I don't know. Everyone around him is poor. Everyone around him is destitute. Everyone around him is enslaved and they don't know it. And Mongol keeps it that way by creating these like cage fights, these gladiator fights to keep everyone entertained and everyone distracted. Breads and circuses is the common term. If everyone has bread and everyone is entertained, they won't question you. Kind of a harrowing thought a little bit. But his biggest story would be For the Man Who Has Everything, which is Action Comics Annual number 11. Might be Superman Annual 11. No, I'm pretty sure it's Action Comics. Anyway, that's the one where Superman gets like that weird starfish thing pasted to his chest, and he gets to see a version of his future or his life if Krypton never blew up and he just got to live there. It was adapted into an episode of Justice League Unlimited. It was really good. Mongol. Scary guy. And the last card. Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle, and he is, I believe he's Darkseid's uncle. I'm pretty sure that is accurate. Steppenwolf is like this assassin for Darkseid. And yeah, more fourth world stuff. What is there to say? He's kind of a bad guy. You probably have heard his name mostly from the Justice League movie. He was the villain, though he looked quite a bit different from this in the theatrical and the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. Now, it's been a fun time going through all of these cards and going through the lore with them. And like I said, I love the hologram. They're all very well built. They're very sturdy. Guys, I had too much fun with this. I think I might have to go get another box of these cards and just keep going over Superman lore with you guys. This was cool. We didn't really get all that many repeats. We only got a few. Yeah, this was 100% worth it. This was so much fun, and I hope you had a lot of fun going through these cards and going through the lore with me as well.